I think if you could get a wash light to highlight this shrub and this shrub, it kind of highlights the entryway up to the back porch. And then you could copy that on this side, and it would do the same thing and kind of give you a little, it just kind of lights the entryway, makes it very inviting. And then you have a really nice area here lit up along with this guy, where you know, you don't have to add a whole ton more lighting. I might try and throw like a wash light over on this shrub, and then get another wash light on this shrub, and you know, garden feature or whatever that you have here. And again, not do too much. Really focus in on kind of this area, and then just have a couple helping lights on the side there.
Hey guys, it's Cal from The Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys enjoy this video with some more great landscape lighting tips. To learn more about landscape lighting, go and check out our website at lightingdoctor.ca, or if you want to see what a real quality landscape light should look like, go and check out our try it before you buy it offer, where you can get a premium quality fixture at a discounted rate with your very own battery pack, so you can go and test out how that light's going to look and feel what a real premium quality light should look like. So go and check us out at lightingdoctor.ca, or go watch more videos on YouTube just by searching for The Lighting Doctor.
Hey, Jim, yeah, thanks for your email and your pictures. Your house is one of my favorites to light with landscape lighting because of the beautiful brickwork you have, and just the style, kind of that ranch style, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite houses to light. So I'll show you kind of how I would do that with a couple different lights. Obviously, you emailed me, so you were aware that we do have some sales. Sorry for the short notice, but yeah, just let me know how I can help today. I should be available most of the day. But primarily on a house like this, like here's just a good example. This is a little bit more stone, but same kind of thing is we just really want to graze that and highlight that. And we do that primarily using uplights. So what I would do is I'll just kind of show you a couple different lights and then how I would go about doing that. So I'm just trying to get some other pics. Okay. So first off, I would start with the house, and even though you have some shrubs in the front of the brickwork, I still want to highlight that so I get some of the top peaks, and I'll talk to you about the shrubs in a little bit. But so like for example, I might be able to see another picture here, but what I like to do is try and get an uplight, you know, usually about 12, 18 inches, sometimes 24 inches back, and have it shining fairly upright, so it's just kind of grazing the brickwork that you have there. So I would have one there, and depending how much room there is on the other side of the window, I would probably have one there, or shine it against the side of the house, which I'll get to those pictures. But then I would do the same thing on this side, kind of behind these plants. As long as there's room, hopefully there's enough room to get behind there. You only need, again, if you can get like 12 inches of room back there that you can just have those lights shining up, that does a really nice job of lighting that peak as much as possible. If it's not complete concrete here, or even if you have room to get an uplight over to light up the front entryway, I would. One of the comments I always get is, well, I have the house light, so I don't need it there. But 90% of the time when people don't put it, they wish they had, and they usually come back and end up adding those because it's just a different lighting effect. These are bright, kind of glary, more of a security lighting, whereas the uplighting is really, it's more of an ambient light, and it really highlights the entryway and makes it pop and stand out. So I would definitely do that there. I would continue that same kind of theme that we did over here on the other side, kind of on both sides of the windows, but these ones you could almost have under the windows, so they're catching some of the frame, and the light is kind of nicely spreading to the top peak here. But I would have probably 2 of those there, and then on this side I would probably have 2 of those kind of right on the edge of the windows. That would do a really nice job of lighting this area. And then again, depending on where this light is, this probably gives you, again, it's a totally different light, it's a brighter light, so it probably gives you quite a bit of light in here. But I would still try and get one of those accent lights. I'm hoping there's room behind there, but kind of in the middle of this window frame, again, that's shining up and kind of getting to this top peak. And you could even have it a little bit more on the corner and even angled this way a bit, so that it tries to catch some light up to that second story peak. So if that makes sense, and I'll come back to those areas as well. So this is still the front of the house. Yeah, so you do have room for that second light on both sides of the windows there. So I would definitely do that. And then on these trees in the front, this is where, again, I would use just a couple of those uplights, like these guys here. So the same light, you could use that. The only thing is with the one tree, because it is a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, you might want to use something a little bit brighter. So sometimes we upgrade that from what is the standard 4-watt LED lamp that comes in there. We'll upgrade that to a 5-watt LED, which we call a 35-watt halogen equivalent lamp, and have that at the base of this tree. And the reason we do that is just because it does a better job of getting light up to the canopy. On this one, I would just use a standard light as well. If I go around to the back, as much as possible, again, I would really I would focus more on some of the deciduous trees. So I would try and get another uplight on here, probably one over here, and then a couple in here. And if you can, I would try and focus more on doing the deciduous trees that are in this bed. These might be farther back, so they might be irrelevant. And the reason I say that is just because evergreens are very tough to light, because obviously they grow away from the light. So the only way to do it properly is to kind of get a light in here that kind of shines up. Otherwise, if you get it too close, these bottom branches suck all the leaves, and if you get it too far, well, then nothing, then it doesn't get much. So you usually have to get a light back out in the grass, which we do if that's something you really want to do. And we use an in-ground light like this that sits flush in the grass. You can still angle these lights in here a little bit so that it can still get those spruces. But that's the thing, is if you have to be too far back, you can only angle it so much. So I mean, you can kind of get it about to here, still have that angle, and light a few of those if you wanted to. But if you can accent some of these, even with that 35-watt equivalent, that slightly brighter one, it still does the same effect. It creates that perimeter lighting effect. It's a little brighter, and I don't mind using a brighter one on these bigger trees that are farther out because it helps them stand out a little bit more as well. Along this area here, this is where I would just subtly light these with, and I'm assuming there's probably enough room, but you don't have to light every square inch of this, but this is where I like just using a wash light, because it's not super bright. I don't want to create a big hot spot on those, and you have a lot of other nice features, so I think just a little bit of additional light with these is great, because it's a wider angle light, it's a softer light, so it does a really nice job if you can kind of get them on the edge of the bed and just kind of have like maybe 3 of those across here that's just evenly spaced out, creating a nice little consistent pattern of light. In the back area here, obviously, again, there's so many things that you could light that you really got to kind of pick and choose. You can always add on later, but I always say you're better off focusing on just a couple key features than trying to light everything and spread the lights out too thin. So I would probably try and get another uplight on this tree back in the corner. Definitely one of those 35-watt equivalent ones on this taller tree. And then what I would do is in a couple of these areas, again, that's where I would probably focus some of the wash lighting. I think if you could get a wash light to highlight this shrub and this shrub, it kind of highlights the entryway up to the back porch. And then you could copy that on this side, and it would do the same thing and kind of give you a little, it just kind of lights the entryway, makes it very inviting. And then you have a really nice area here lit up along with this guy, where you know, you don't have to add a whole ton more lighting. I might try and throw like a wash light over on this shrub, and then get another wash light on this shrub, and you know, garden feature or whatever that you have here. And again, not do too much. Really focus in on kind of this area, and then just have a couple helping lights on the side there. Same thing would go on this side, because this is a dark area. Unless this is a high traffic walking area, you might want to put more lights. But I would probably just try and have a couple wash lights in there, not so much that it's going to light up and create a lit pathway, but so as you're looking at this area, it doesn't look like this big dark abyss, if that makes sense. And then the last thing I will mention is on the front of the house here too, because I kind of talked about backlighting the wall. Well, this is where with some of these shrubs in the front, I might throw a little bit of a wash light in here, just so it creates a nice low level of light in here. It's not overpowering. It's not like you need to really put a whole bunch of emphasis on these, but it just avoids creating a big dark spot here by having that subtle little wash light in here. And then you might do the same in a couple of these areas too, where maybe you highlight this one with a wash light, maybe over here, and then maybe these lower shrubs. And then I would probably also try and get an uplight over there. So Jim, I know that's a lot of lights. That's a longer video, but you got a lot of nice features. So please just let me know how we can help. I'm more than happy to kind of customize a kit for you if you have a rough idea of what kind of ideas you like. if you're looking for a transformer, I would probably say you want to go with a 300 watt transformer. So, and you may be looking, I would say just looking at the pictures, you probably have one in the back. You could probably have a little bit of a smaller one there. Actually, you could probably have a 150 watt transformer in the back and then another one in the front. I think would do a good enough job with the amount of lights that you have. Because these lights are so efficient that we sell, they don't use a lot of wattage or additional wattage with some of the cheaper models. You know, they'll say that's a 5 watt lamp, but they're actually drawing like 9 watts, so it can cause some voltage drop issues. But if you were to stick with kind of, you know, our standard 150 watt transformer, you would be, you'd pretty much be good to go. So again, let me know how we can help, and we'll just kind of go from there. Thanks, Jim.
Mounting your transformer, another question I get all the time. In this case, we've just mounted it straight to the house, straight to the structure. This is a part of the house that nobody really sees. It's well enough hidden. We have our outlet, and it's solid enough. I don't have to worry about drilling through concrete or anything like that. So in this case, we just mounted it directly to the house. Try and keep it about 12 to 18 inches above the ground. Just because, not that they put out a lot of heat, but they can put out a little bit of heat, and you just want to keep that, you know, above the ground. But if you don't have that option, or it's your house is concrete, or you don't know what's there and you don't want to be drilling into the house, which I hate drilling into houses unless I know what's there. Usually what we'll do is I'll just go get a nice 4x4 cedar post, because I know it's going to last. I might go to the deck section in my home improvement store and get like a nice little cap for the top of my 4x4 post. I'll dig that in a bit, bury that in, and then I'll just mount my transformer to that. And the reason I like doing that too is because then if you ever decide to move your transformer, you're not having to worry about patch up holes in your house. So a simple 4x4 post is a nice way to go and mount your transformer. It's clean, it's easy, and it just eliminates you having to drill more holes into the side of your house. I wanted to also talk about making your controllers Wi-Fi really cost effectively, and also running multiple zones. There is transformers out there where you can have one transformer that runs, say, a zone for your front and a zone for your back. In all honesty, they're pretty confusing to work, and they get quite expensive, and there's some limitations and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to tell you a real cost-effective way of doing that, especially if you only have, like, say, a front yard and a backyard zone. If it doesn't matter, then just run them all off the same transformer. But if you want to control them separately, front yard, backyard, with simple on-off functions, the best way to do it is just with a simple Wi-Fi timer like this. So this is one we've used for a long time. It's from Wion. It works, it's weatherproof, it's great outdoors. There's literally tons of models out there that you can use. We just use this one because this is what we know, and we haven't had a lot of issues with it. But basically all we've done is we've taken just a standard transformer that all it has is a simple on-off switch inside here that you flick on or off. And to bypass that, instead of putting like a photocell where now, you know, we got to be conscious of where we're putting that transformer so it's not in the shade, so our lights don't come on too early. What we've done is two ways you can do this. One is we've basically just taken our Wi-Fi timer, we've plugged it into our outlet, and then we've plugged our transformer into there. Sometimes the reason I like doing that is just because when you put these little things inside the box, which I'll show you, the Wi-Fi signal isn't as strong. It's sometimes cause some issues. But if you want to put it inside, it's pretty easy. You'll see the transformers and any of the good ones that you'll buy, not the Malibu or Moonrays or Hampton Bay or any of those garbage ones, but a good solid stainless steel one is going to have a setup like this, where you have an on-off switch, and then you've got this little plug in here. And all you basically have to do is take this plug out, and you plug your timer into there, and then you plug this back into there, and then all of a sudden that's inside, but this operates as what it would be like a photocell. And all this is, if you had any kind of old timer or photocell, it basically plugs into this kind of thing too. So that's how you make your system a Wi-Fi. And it doesn't matter if you have a smart home system and they make a compatible outdoor outlet, then just use that. If you have your plug-in on a Wi-Fi switch already that's inside the house, well, then you don't even need that, because basically you can just plug this in, leave it in the on position, and then you control everything from whatever your smart home system is. And the reason I say that's a cost-effective way is because now if you want to do the front and the back, it's typically going to be cheaper for you just to get two transformers, two smart devices, and have a front and a back zone, as opposed to going and buying one of the programmable zoning ones. And not that I've got one in my house. I get
I get my stuff at cost, so I don't mind paying for it. But I know that a lot of you, and even myself, if I had to pay a full price, I might not be paying for that zoning option, because realistically, it's not something that we use a whole ton in a much more affordable way. Simple transformer, Wi-Fi timer, and you're set. So how do you select the right size transformer for your project? It's really easy as long as you're using a good, efficient LED landscape light. Basically what you do is you take all your lights. So I'm going to say, for example, I've got 20 uplights, and they're all 5-watt LED lamps. Now the only thing to keep in mind is that the cheaper the quality of the light, the less you pay for it. There's something called their VA, which is basically their efficiency of the light, which if it says it's a 5-watt bulb, the cheaper quality of the light is, it's actually going to be using closer to 10 watts. Sometimes I've seen as high as double the actual wattage. So you want to be careful. If you're saving money on lights because you're buying something off Amazon or in Home Depot, just be aware you want to definitely size your transformer much bigger. If you're using a good contractor grade or professional light, you allow for maybe 20% extra of that VA. So a 5-watt light might be using 6 watts, maybe 7 watts. So always plan for that. Any of the good lights are going to tell you that. They're going to give you a VA on the box, which is going to tell you what you should actually plan your transformer for. So let's say you're looking at our standard RS uplight was a 4-watt LED bulb, which only uses about 4.2 watts, but let's say it's 5 just to keep math simple. Say we've got 20 of those lights. 20 times 5 is we have 100 watts. So the only thing we want to do is just make sure we size our transformer a little bit bigger than that, so that we can add on later, and just in case there is any inefficiencies, we have a little bit of room. So we'll usually, size it maybe 20% larger just to be safe. If you know you want to add more later, then just go a little bit bigger than that. But basically that's it. The reason that you still see a lot of 600, 900 watt transformers out there, again, is because there's still a lot of I'll call them old school guys that still install halogen lights, where you needed those bigger transformers because there was just so much wattage with all the lights that are on the system. If you're using a good LED system, I'm going to tell you that you probably don't need anything bigger than 300 watts, because if you're putting that many lights on, you're probably going to be spread out so far that you're going to want another transformer anyway. So we basically carry 2 models. We carry a good stainless steel 150 watt and a good stainless steel 300 watt. That's it. It doesn't matter if you use a 300 watt and you only put a couple lights on it. It's really not going to affect your system that much. You just probably don't need to spend the extra money to do that. But if you wanted to, and future expansion, all that kind of stuff, you definitely can. Anything that's under 100 watts, I'll tell you right now, there's not a lot of good options. There's a lot of Econo transformers that we actually used to sell some of them, and not that they were bad, but I know they don't last. We've quit selling anything that we get called out to repair or replace all the time, and that's why there's a very limited number of fixtures and products on our website, because I don't want to sell you guys the garbage that I know is just going to break down. So we're going to give you, the best of the best, the quality that's not going to break your bank account, but that we know is going to last. But basically, in short, that's how you size your transformer. Add up the wattage of all your lights, and then just make sure you size that transformer about 20% higher. The less efficient, the cheaper the light, size it a little bit more. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys got some great do-it-yourself landscape lighting tips. Now please be sure to go to our website at lightingdoctor.ca and check out our how-to page. It's full of great resources, from our podcast to our video to our most frequently asked questions. And also check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, where you can actually go now and get one of our premium quality uplights and a King Innovation Insta-Light, which is basically a battery pack now that allows you to go and run those lights and test them out on your property. Try it for 14 days. If you don't love it, send it back to us and we'll give you a full refund. And if not, you keep the light at a discounted rate and go and buy what you need for your project. So thanks again for watching. Please be sure to leave us a comment. We'd love your feedback. Have a great day.